People that attack Donald Trump from the left are a dime a dozen. We've had a decade's worth of experience now seeing the media and influencers and the crazy liberal on your school council doing such. But attacking him from the right was almost unthinkable during his first term, but frankly his second one has been off to such a calamitous start that it's never been so popular. And I tried it during his first term to criticize him from a purely libertarian perspective, which I've come to see as rather not that useful with people who aren't themselves libertarian but are generally right-wing, that you want to be steering in a better direction, especially when their direction has been so poor as this one. But I've seen something funny come about since attacking Trump from the right has been a popular thing to do, which is the accusation of blackpilling if you do such. It seems to me that full-time MAGA people who couldn't possibly criticize God Emperor Trump believe in some sort of dialectical magic where by saying that Trump is finally going to imprison Hillary Clinton or something like that, then you are speaking it into existence. You're making it more likely to happen. But if you say, we've got 9 years of track record to look back on Donald Trump now and say, when he says he's going to do something, that means he actually won't. You say that, you're a blackpiller. You are interrupting the dialectical magic with your dialectical black magic, and you are preventing him from doing anything by pointing out the obvious, using your pattern recognition. It's all the more ironic when the appeal of a right-wing populist politician is that they're not like other politicians. When they say they're going to do something, they actually do it. I really want to know what promises Donald Trump made that he's fully delivered on. You don't even have a wall. Hillary's not even in prison. Those are the first 2 promises that man ever made. And after 4 years in power and coming up to the end of his first of a second go round, nothing. He's not come through on a single thing. This is after he himself has been shot. His chief youth influencer, Charlie Kirk, was shot and killed publicly. And now some Antifa terrorist has shot and killed detainees awaiting deportation as an act of protest against their deportation. Left-wing terrorism in America is at a high that not many have seen in their own lives, probably looking back at 1910s. And what is the strong man, the scary populist that, he's going to do what he wants with the Constitution, and we should all be so afraid of how this man's going to abuse his power? What's he doing about this when he himself and all of his base are being shot? What's he done? What's he done about this? Anything? Can I get a check? Jack, can you tell me what time it is? Have you got a what clock there that we can look at? Oh man, no, that's not good. Yeah. When Donald Trump is in charge, nothing ever happens. Does America get made great again? Does America get put first? I'm not so sure. I think Donald Trump in power makes some people great. I think it makes some people get put first, but maybe not America. So that's a good segue into the Epstein files. Do you remember being told, right, elect me for my second term and I'll release the Epstein files, and they're going to be chock full of Democrat politicians, sanctuary city mayors, Soros DAs and judges. Yeah, great. Okay, we've elected you. Thanks. Can you release those files now? Files? Yeah, the Epstein files that you said you were going to release. Epstein files? Did someone mean... No, who told you about that? That wasn't me. No, you definitely said if we elect you, you're going to release all the files that the FBI has on Jeffrey Epstein, because it's going to incriminate our enemies and you can finally put them away and do something about them. Oh, that doesn't sound like me. No, I don't think I would have said that. But you know what? I'll do you a favor. I'll go rummaging through the cabinet. I'll see if I can get these files for you. All right, thank you. No, those files still don't exist. No, you told us that they exist and that you were going to release them. Oh, yeah. Oh, those files. You're right. Okay, here they are. Well, that doesn't tell us anything. It's quite obvious that that's not the full story. What else have you got? All right, fine. Yeah, we've got more files, but if you keep talking about these files, can you just give it a rest? If you keep talking about them, I disown you. I don't want you voting for me. You're not MAGA. Do you feel like a battered housewife yet? Are you a bit bored of the gaslighting around these godforsaken files? Honestly, I think the Epstein files have had more of an effect on British politics than they have in America, with the downfall of Prince Andrew and Lord Mandelson. Who's gone down in America for the Epstein files? No one. And this happening was the first time that it became acceptable on the right to criticize Trump. When Trump came out and said to you, I don't care that you voted for me if you keep talking about these files, about the global paedophile ring of all the people in power, then I don't want you. That's a bit suspicious, isn't it? And this unleashed the first torrent of criticism from Trump of the right. But as I could have predicted, the steam's run out on that. People still talk about the Epstein files, but who associates the name Donald Trump with Epstein files? The media cycle's moved on. And what has it moved on to since then? Well, I think the next big thing was obviously the bombing of Iran. Let me just remember, was America at war with Iran when they bombed them? No, but there was another country that was at war with Iran, wasn't there? There was another country which bombed Iran first and then got bombed back. And when it got bombed back, it cried to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump stepped in and sent the highly classified B-2 Spirit stealth bomber with the classified not for foreign export bunker busters to attack their enemy. That did put a country first, and it did make a country great, but that country wasn't America. No, it was Israel. So sorry, schmuck. You might have voted to put America first, but that's not the deal you've been given. And if we look at the track record, it's not the deal you've ever been given, is it? Because that's not the first time that Donald Trump ordered a bombing attack on Iran, is it? A country they're not at war with, and a country that hates America. But why do they hate America? Could it be something to do with their involvement of a neighboring country to Iran that America backs to the hilt, even though they are antagonistic and outright hostile to the American government, the American people, the American religion, American values? Could it have anything to do with that? Do you think? Well, you could take a look at Trump's staff and the people around him, the people who we're told the reason why he couldn't get anything worthwhile done in his first term was because he had inexperienced people in his staff or swamp creatures like John Bolton trying to drag him into wars. Well, John Bolton's not around. So who can we blame instead of Trump for bombing Iran? Not really anyone now. Are we going to blame Pete Hegseth? Who the hell's Pete Hegseth? Has he proven to be any more capable of forcing his will on the government than Trump, which is to say not at all? No, but maybe it could be the chief donors of Donald Trump, his campaign and his government and his own business interests. Could it? Well, we don't need to drag up all the receipts of all the Jewish Zionist backers of Donald Trump and the Republican Party, especially since what is now unanimously known as October 7th, when Jewish and Zionist business interests fled from the left as the left came out and celebrated their destruction and ran to the right with all of their money and influence. Well, let's wonder if that could have anything to do with it by looking at Larry Ellison. You might not know who that is. Would it raise your eyebrows if I told you you've missed the news articles announcing him as now the richest man in the world, overtaking Elon Musk? Founder of Oracle. Oracle is a data processing company, but is in the same sort of vein as Palantir. They're one of these companies that you keep hearing about, but you have no idea what they do. The sort of company that when you go on their website, you come away with more questions than answers as to your understanding of what they do. A company that seems to be nothing but a sort of Keynesian homunculus creation of the state and global finance working together to subvert national interests. Larry Ellison is at the forefront of that, and he just so happens to be the man appointed to take ownership of TikTok, at least in its Western form. You remember how for years now, the American government has been talking about banning TikTok? Now, it's not to say that there isn't some sort of national security threat by having so much user data held in China with access by the Chinese Communist Party. Surely, yes, something is worth being done about that. But it just so happens that Trump's Jewish Zionist business right-hand man is the head data processor of America, the owner of essentially what is the privatized NSA, as Palantir is the privatized CIA. Yes, this Jewish Zionist backer just so happens to be the man set up to take ownership of TikTok's data in the US and also TikTok's main shareholder in the West as part of a deal that Trump has been threatening to ban over to bring this deal into fruition for years. This is a plan that's been in the works for years, finally coming through for his financial backer to sit atop the entire world. He just so happened to be in the right place at the right time, I suppose. And do his business interests make America great again? Do they put America first? I don't think it's hard to argue that all of those things rather put Israel first. All of this benefits Israel and Larry Ellison more than it does America. Thank you, Donald Trump. Is that what you voted for if you voted for Trump? Did you vote for any of this? Did you vote for the Epstein files to be buried? Did you vote for Israel to have free use and command, essentially, of America's most classified weapons? Did you vote for the Zionist influencer complex of people like Laura Loomer to be leading the message instead of Charlie Kirk, who was himself a Zionist influencer that was showing signs of grumbling just before he got shot? Did you vote to make Larry Ellison great? Did you vote to put Larry Ellison first? I don't imagine you did. Now, what's the purpose of attacking Trump from the right? There must be some utility to this. We're not here just to say to MAGA people, oh, you're stupid, to point and laugh at them, to attack them without any sort of viable alternative. That is the main point in response to all of this. Okay, fine, you can criticize Trump, but what else is there? Who else is there? What else are we supposed to do? A totally valid concern. All politics needs to have a positive vision. And it is, admittedly, incredibly hard to offer a differing and realistic alternative positive vision to Trump and the populist right. But what I can tell you for certain is that all right-wing populist politicians, whether they be Donald Trump, Nigel Farage, the people in the AfD, or the National Rally, and Giorgia Meloni as the most obvious example, they are all treacherous containment. They will betray you at the first given moment if they haven't already. They will get nothing done in a right-wing direction because this democratic system is going to get what it wants. No matter who you vote for, no matter how angry you are, you can't stop it. The people you vote for, one, either don't run the show, or the people who do run the show say that they are acceptable dissidents. Anyone who is not acceptable dissidents, which is to say, is actually radical enough to threaten what they stand for, is not allowed in, barred, gone, debanked, murdered, not allowed near the levers of power. What is called the deep state in America actually has some official names in Britain, such as the Home Office and the Civil Service. These are the real levers of power. The people who control those institutions get to decide who the people are acceptable to allow to be on the ballot. If they decide you're not, you're gone. If you are contrary to their wishes, you're gone. And this means that someone like Donald Trump and Nigel Farage, when they are in power, they are actually preventing genuine right-wing change from occurring. They are propping up this system that you hate instead of bringing it down. They wouldn't be voted into those positions of power if they were an actual threat, because the office of Prime Minister or President is not the one running the show. They're not the people in charge. And so I have to ask, would you rather take the risk of 8 years of insane Democrat rule, where the borders get opened, where the economy gets trashed, where money becomes made even more worthless, where housing becomes more scarce, where food prices and energy prices increase, for the possibility that after those 8 years, there could be actual, genuine right-wing change without a speed bump in the way of the right wing, which is Nigel Farage's supposed proudest moment. That Nigel Farage, being the leader of the dissident right, so-called, in the UK, is preventing more radical right-wing people from coming to power. Do we just keep going for that? Do we assume JD Vance will get 2 terms out? So do you run that risk of 8 years of Democrat management for a possible actual right-wing solution? Or do you want to go for another 12 years of making Israel great and putting Israel first and no possible solution in sight? The fact of the matter is that populist politicians like Donald Trump being in power is in the way of actual political solutions coming to the forefront. The more you vote for containment, the more contained you're going to be, and the fewer your real options out of this mess are. So there is actual utility in criticizing Trump from the right. if he's not criticised and if everyone on the right is just a sycophantic little lapdog like they were for the first administration, and like it looks they're going to be for the second as well, because how many people have forgotten about the Epstein files already? If we're not constantly reminding people that they are being sold down the river on a raft of lies to keep them where they are and to prevent actual change from happening, what reason is there to not do that? And I can end on a more positive message by saying we should criticise those we love more than those we hate, because we know those we love more. The people we love, we know all of the good things about them and all of the bad, and we want to minimise those bad and increase those good things. Being a right-winger and criticising people on the right from the right is far more worthwhile than saying, oh, the left are hypocrites. Did you guys notice that? Did you guys notice that the left say one thing and then they go and do another? Isn't that crazy? What does that get you? Well, it gets you Donald Trump elected. Great. And then you get more containment. The longer I stay alive and the longer I see these democratic systems working explicitly against the national interest and the will of the people, the more utterly disillusioned I am with this thing entirely. Every year that passes, I think I can't be more disillusioned with democracy, and yet it finds a way. And the more enticing accelerationism seems, and the idea that things need to get a lot worse before they have any chance of getting better, that we are the frogs in this pot of water which is bloody hot, and it is getting hot slower and slower while the populist right is in charge. It's not cooling down, it's just decreasing the rate of heating up. Do I want to continue doing that, or do I want someone to flick the switch all the way up and the radical, loony, woke left get in charge, but that creates a military coup and finally an overthrowing of these systems? I'll take that in a heartbeat, actually. I've seen too much now to be happy just going along in this warming up water, waiting to boil to death. I'm afraid I'm probably not done with my criticism from the right of the right just yet, and I might have another video up my sleeve in a similar vein to this, which could easily and will actually is guaranteed to piss people off. But I say it because I love you and I want the best for you. I hope you keep that in mind and take it easy. If you would be generous enough to support what I do, you can preferably buy me a coffee or become a YouTube member. Thank you very much for watching, and take it easy.